how a single player spawned a whole genre and then just didn't care anymore. One guy showed up, created one of the biggest gaming genres ever, dipped again, and is now making a single player survival game. But we will get to that later. Let's start from the beginning. Battle royales are everywhere these days, a genre that, let's be honest, feels a little bit played out by now. Even Battlefield 6 is getting a free-to-play battle royale mode, but let's see how that goes. And of course, Fortnite has been a staple in the gaming scene for years now, even if it's more of a meme these days. But hey, the fun had to come from somewhere, and somebody had to come up with this genius idea of bringing the last man standing concept, basically Takeshi's Castle for the slightly older among us, into the gaming world. The idea was genius. That one dude who wanted to make exactly that happen was Brandon Green, better known as PlayerUnknown, the father of battle royales as we know them today, and the creator of Pubg, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And before the comments go off, yes, before Pubg there was DayZ and Arma 2 mod. But who made that mod? Exactly, Brandon Green. A few years ago, Pubg was literally everywhere. On Twitch, it was impossible to find a streamer who wasn't hooked on the game. Huge events were held where the who is who of creators came together in massive tournaments to see who would actually win the chicken dinner and celebrate themselves and their team as champs. And all of that came from Brandon's mod for Arma 2, Arma 3 and H1Z1. Pretty niche games actually, and before anyone knew what was happening, we already had Fortnite, Apex and Warzone. So yeah, a big thank you goes out to Brandon for all of the countless hours I've tilted in these games. Brandon, you're an absolute legend. But if he's such a legend, this shining light of the gaming revolution, where is the guy now? And more importantly, why is nobody really talking about Pubg anymore when it used to be such a big deal? Well, except in India. I don't think there's a game more played in India today than Pubg Mobile, but that's another story. Anyway, the actual question is pretty easy to answer. Pubg's early access after the Arma and H1Z1 mods blew up was massive. We're talking millions of sales, over 3 million concurrent players on Steam, which was a record at that time and stood for years, plus a flood of streams on Twitch with everyone fighting over the winner chicken dinner meme. But the problems piled up. Endless bugs and server issues. Hosting 3 million players at once was just a bit too much, and performance problems that really dragged the fun down. On top of that, Pubg had practically zero anti-cheat protection, and I'm sure all of us rage quit at least once after being shot through walls 4 times in a row. That stuff is insanely frustrating, and it sucked a lot of joy out of Pubg. And of course, the competition didn't sleep either. Epic Games saw Pubg's huge success and basically overnight created a battle royale mode for Fortnite. Their approach was simple. We'll do it too, but just better. And it wasn't even Fortnite's look that made it beat Pubg. It was the smoother servers, regular updates, events, skins, and most importantly, the game just ran better and was free. That made Fortnite way more beginner friendly and pushed Pubg to the sidelines with all of its problems. Soon after came more and more alternatives to Pubg, like Apex Legends, which added hero shooter elements into the mix, went first person and even let you revive your teammates. That was huge, because honestly, the worst thing about Pubg was dying right after landing and having to watch your squad play for 20 minutes. And so the battle royale slowly snagged away at Pubg's player base. The peak at 2018 couldn't be sustained, and while there's still a loyal fanbase, Pubg never came close to that initial hype again. Right now, things are looking slightly better. At the game's 8th anniversary this March, for example, we actually cracked 1 million players again. And honestly, maybe I will fire it up again as well. We will see. Is this just my nostalgia talking, or would you also be down for a classic round of how it all began? Drop it in the comments, so maybe we will see each other online. There are more than enough ways to jump back in after all, because while player numbers on PC and console have tanked and people moved on to other games, Pubg found a whole new core business, the infamous mobile gaming market. As an app, it was super accessible, even for people without high-end setups, and it brought the entire genre to a whole new audience. And no joke, on mobile I had friends who never touched a controller or only ever used a PC for office work, and they were way better than me. I honestly questioned myself if I had lost my skill. Point is, PUBG Mobile went through the roof and basically saved the game. Especially in Asia, the app exploded. And we're talking about a serious market here, billions in revenue. That is not easy to pull off. This success also allowed PUBG to make its PC and console versions free to play in 2022, which gave player numbers a nice little boost again. We just love free games, especially in this economy, but PUBG never managed to reclaim its old dominance in the genre, though maybe it's more of a not yet, because PUBG never really died like other games that couldn't hold up against their competition. We remember you, Concord. And Brandon Green himself? At some point he just didn't feel like it anymore. The Irish guy was actually a photographer but liked Battle Royale and later Hunger Games so much that he built the Arma 2 mod because he wanted to play this last man standing thing for himself. The Arma 3 mod was already close to what we know as PUBG, with the shrinking zone, the parachute drop and the big map. Because of its success, devs started reaching out to him. Daybreak Games, for example, brought him in as a consultant for H1Z1, but he didn't have as much control over his vision as he wanted. Then the Korean studio Bluehole approached him to make PUBG, so Brandon moved to South Korea, became a creative director, and boom, 1 year later the game was out. But the pressure took its toll. And some things were still out of his hands. He couldn't do anything about the technical issues, but he was still frustrated. So in 2019, he left South Korea, moved to Amsterdam and founded his own studio, PlayerUnknown Productions. We're still waiting for their first big release, but one game is already in the pipeline. Back in 2021, it was called Project Artemis. Now we know the game is called Go Way Back, and you can play the open beta right now. So what do you think? Back to PUBG or googling every day for updates on Project Artemis? It's going to be a single-player open-world survival roguelike where every journey is unique. You explore a wilderness that's newly generated every time you play. How you play and what you do is entirely up to you. Looks awesome. I am definitely going to check it out. What about you? And that's the end of the video. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. And while you're down there, why not subscribe as well if you haven't so far? And now the only thing left to say is thanks for watching and see you in the next video.